Okay, good afternoon. Um, so to recap the game, like I said yesterday, I thought the first half was really good. A lot of good things, a lot of good moments. Certainly saw the offense gelling in a lot of good ways, in terms of being in sync in the passing game, getting the run game going, getting our skill, getting the targets going there. I thought that was really good. I thought the plays, by Luke and the offensive staff were really good too in terms of highlighting Justin's skill. He felt very comfortable in there, and you could see that as we went about through the game. Um, Defensively, I thought we had a good first half too. We had some injuries that we had involved, and I thought the guys that stepped in there and stepped up did a nice job. And decent in the run game in terms of the run defense, and then the pass defense was decent there. It was good, and had some good stops. Played good complementary football. You guys can see the one muffed kickoff the Denver had, and then we end up getting complementary football there, pin them down there, got the ball on the 44-yard line, punched it in for a touchdown. So there's a lot of good moments there. To start out the third quarter, really good again. Started out with a good defensive stop and an offensive touchdown, which was really good by us in terms of that. And then really from there going into the fourth quarter, we got to do a better job of finishing. Right, we got to do a better job of executing down the stretch, and we had some moments there. We had a couple of series on defense that we needed to execute better during that time, and then obviously protecting the ball at the very end there is very important as you finish games. To go along with the topic of when we decided to go for 4th and 1 down there. Again, that's a decision that we made. It was a little bit less than a yard there, and again we tried to freeze them to start. To get them to jump. They didn't do that. Got our play selection there and got together with the offensive staff, and that's the play that we liked down there going forward. And again, if we execute in that moment, we're going to get it, and then we're going to have the chance to seal the game. And again, they would certainly still have time, but again, the win probability goes up there. You score a touchdown there in that moment. You're taking timeouts and time away from their offense, and we feel good about that too. But again, we were just trying to seal the game right there and do a good job of capturing the game at that moment. We like where we were running the ball at that time as an offense. Certainly that drive as well, being able to punch it in there for a yard. So that's where it is with the Denver, where Denver is. Then to correct the record for Chase Claypool, we did tell him not to be here for the weekend, including the game. We told him he'd be inactive on Saturday. And this morning we informed him that he's not going to be here this week for the game as well. And we just feel that's best for the team at this time. So, and again, Ryan and I have informed him of that, and that's where it is. So we just feel that's the best for the team right now. So that's Chase, and then moving on to Washington. Washington is, obviously it's a fast week for us. It's important for us to be able to, flip now over to Washington. We'll have our team meeting here in a little bit, and really the message is that we have to build off the positives that we did in this game as a football team by playing complementary football for 3 quarters and really doing a great job of working together, offense, defense, and kicking to be able to get that lead. And then we have to do a great job of finishing and focusing on our execution down the stretch. And that'll be my message to him. I will also talk to him about, and show him the clips, the good clips and the clips we need to improve. And then we'll move right on to the Washington game and to make sure we're squared away with that. We'll have another meeting, and then we'll have a walkthrough today, which will be about 35, 40 minutes of a walkthrough. Have a bunch of meeting time because we want guys to stay off their feet. And then moving into tomorrow, again, another lengthy meetings for the Washington game. And we'll have 2 walkthroughs scheduled for tomorrow, and then leading up into the Wednesday, we'll have a helmets practice, which will be our gold zone, red zone day, which will be right there. Injury updates that I have for you. I really don't have any injury updates. Everything looks good right now, but Tevin is designated to return to practice. Tevin Jenkins is designated to return to practice for that. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
Matt, is the plan to keep Chase Claypool away from the team until you trade or waive him?
Yeah, right now we're just having him stay, not be in the building this week And then again, Ryan does all the trades and transactions, and we'll decide that as we go forward.
So you think he's coming
Why
back?
keep him away from the team right now? What is the rationale behind that?
Yeah, we just feel that's the best for the team. We just,
Why?
yeah, it's just like we said, if we're in the building, we feel that's best for the team. And really, it comes down to this, when you're evaluating players, right? In meetings, in practice, right? And in walkthroughs, all those things, it's important that you evaluate the entire body of work, right? And we just feel that right now, Chase is going to be out of the building is best for our football team.
There's almost no scenario where a team would do this unless that player was done with that team. Is that the case with Chase, that he's not going to play for the Bears again?
Well, he's not going to be in the building this week, so he's not playing this week. So then we'll see where it goes from there. And again, like I said, Ryan handles all those trades and transactions, and we'll see where it goes.
You think there's some possibility that then you would have him out of the building, you would tell him not to come to a game, you'd have him out of the building, not to go to another game, and he would somehow be on the team again at some point and play?
All I'm saying right now is that he's not in the building this week.
What transpired this weekend when you informed him he was going to be inactive?
Meaning what?
What transpired? Something obviously flared up to the point where he was separated from the team for the remainder of the weekend.
Yeah, I would just say that we wanted to. We thought it was best for the team. In terms of what transpired is that we informed him he was inactive and he was not going to be with the team at the game at that point. And then we informed him this morning that he was not going to be here this week.
What was his response when you told him he was going to be inactive, and was that here at Halas Hall?
It was over the phone in both instances, and his reaction was, we'll keep it there. It's between me and him.
It's obviously a part of this, obviously. It seems to be triggering your decision to separate him from the team. Why not provide more clarity on what his reaction was to explain why there's this sudden divorce and separation?
Because it's a conversation between us, me, him, and Ryan.
You should be able to give the factors for why you made the decision, though. Why did it get to this point with Chase?
Yeah, I would just say that, what we think is best for the team and how we operate here as a football team, with the Chicago Bears, when I came here day one, right, I talked about, being on time, being respectful and working hard. And that to me is important for every individual, if it's a staff member, a player, or a coach. And that's where we are. And we feel right now this is the best decision for us.
I feel like that answer
Is he not
indicates those
doing
are the
those
issues
things,
with
Matt?
Chase. Those are the issues then? The ones you just listed?
I'm just saying that's if we have a standard for that. We have standards for that, and if those standards are met, then everything's good. If it's not, then it's not.
What did you think about him saying at his locker on Friday that he doesn't think that he's being used optimally, that he's not being used correctly?
Well, I would just say that, when we're in the situation we are, we got to find ways to find ways to get things done, right? So that's a player, coach, and everything. I really have no reaction to that one way or the other, but I will say this: we got to find ways as players and coaches to put everybody in position to succeed.
Matt, Tyke has talked to us about finding the right buttons to push with Chase. How frustrating has it been for you as a staff to try different things with them and obviously not break through?
Well, I think when you have when you invest in somebody, right? We invest in all of our players, and I think that's important to find their role. That's our job as coaches, and that's our job as personnel guys, is to say, hey, this is what this role could be for this particular player, and then we got to do a great job as coaches putting them in those positions, and that's what our role as coaches are.
Yeah, when you guys practiced Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, was Chase in his normal starting wide receiver role in those practices?
Well, leading up to the week, right, we talked about evaluating each player, right, and talking about details, right, of their position, and we talked about a lot of with the position coach, right, and then having each position play their best game, and that was the challenge. And there was a lot of guys rotating in different spots. We were going to evaluate that week based on this week alone, and also the weeks prior. The body of work does matter, and we were going to make a decision for inactives or actives, on Saturday.
Why were the conversations over the phone as opposed to face to face?
What's that?
Why were the conversations over the phone as opposed to face to face?
Because of the time of day. Because of the time of day, when it's done in the morning, players aren't in the building early, so it was done over the phone.
After the game, you said you expected him to be here today, and then obviously this morning something changed. What did change between the end of the game and this morning?
Yeah, just visiting, Ryan and I together, visiting that we just thought that it was best interest for us to have him out of the building this week in a short week.
Matt, yesterday you said that Chase was, it was his choice not to be at the game, and then the team clarified that
Yep.
it was the team's decision. Why did you say that?
Yeah, well, the team clarified it because afterward, I told them that I was not clear on it. So I told them, hey, we need to clarify that. I was not clear. It was after the game, right? So after the game, I'm thinking about a lot of different things. And again, I wasn't clear on it. So we had the team put it out that's in case was the case of what I stated today, set the record straight.
In all your years of coaching, about how many times would you say you've had a team ask a player not to show up for game day?
I don't know.
Have you ever done that before? Have you ever been a part of a staff that told a player not to come?
We've had issues, before, where we had a player, disciplinary things or whatever that is over the years, 32 years. Certainly we've had that done before, on a few occasions, I guess.
Matt, do you feel like Chase's unhappiness here and frustration has kind of had a negative impact on the locker room?
It's, when you lose, right? We've lost a couple games here this year. And, for me, it's like everybody has frustrations. But you got to be able to control your emotions, right, and focus on the task at hand. And this is this week and this week alone. And we did a better job of that last week. We focused on the details. We focused on us playing a better football game, and we did that. We made a lot of improvement last week, and I think it's important that we continue to build on that momentum of playing better, okay, into this week. And that's a singular focus we have to have.
Matt, on the interception to end the game, Justin and Cole obviously had crossed wires on that. When you go back through it with both players, what do you see that should ideally happen, given the two things that they saw?
Yeah, visiting with both guys, and they're both right on, is they got to be in sync with each other. And they would both say that, and so that's a route where they have to be in sync with each other, and they have to do a better job synchronizing as you work into the player and then start working away. So it's just really that. It's just being in sync together.
Would you say both players are right in that? Like, how does that synchronicity come in a situation where it sounds like both guys saw something that made sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's a route that's when like a read. You got to either working into the defender, then working away. You got to be able to work together on it. So I think it's on both players, and they both got to work together in sync.
Matt, getting back to the 4th and 1, when you guys try and draw them offsides, you said last night, you buy yourself another minute or so to talk about it. What role does Harry play? Is he in your ear going through? You mentioned win percentage, earlier.
Yep.
Is he sitting there going, okay, here are the numbers, and how do you weigh that when making a decision?
Well, we're talking about 4th down decisions all the time. Once you reach the quad zone, which is typically minus 45 to the 50, then into the quad zone, which you're 50 to the 40, and then you're right above the kick line, which is typically 35, 37, somewhere in there. And you're working always the combinations of where the ball was, where the first down marker is, and what your decisions are going to be for 4th down. It's relative to the quarterback, the opposing quarterback you're playing, how good the other offense is, all that. We got to really factor all those things into it. And then when you get down into the red area, then your go zone there, it certainly changes and adjusts. And I'm always talking to Harry about that. And that situation, we had a choice. If it was inches, yep, no question. If it was yard, half a yard, right there, it was still it was a decision that we had to make. And at that time, we said, hey, this right here is going to be, we're going for it. Right, we're gonna seal the game. We're gonna put the game away. We're gonna go for it. We trust in our offense the way they've been playing all week. I mean, all day. That's an important factor. And I think that's what we did. And we made that decision. We went to freeze. Try to get them to jump off sides. Selected our play and went for it. And that was the decision we made.
You do it again?
Based on the scenario that was there, yes.
Matt, with Justin in the menu of things that played to his strengths yesterday, is this an offensive game plan that no matter whether it's the 32nd defense or the number 1 defense, can this carry over from week to week, and do you expect it to?
Yeah, I think it'll adjust a little bit because you have to adjust to the personnel you're playing. Because certainly defenses, create issues based on matchups and based on where people are and where their strength of their defense is. So you certainly have to accommodate your offense for that, but in terms of the concepts and the style of it, that's gonna be there, right? We wanna make sure that we're enhancing the skill of our players, which I think yesterday we did. We did that, and we wanna continue to do that.
Matt, what went into the decision to have Tyson be QB2 yesterday?
Yeah, just based on opportunity that he's created. You know, he's created that opportunity and really good. And you know, with the practice, you know, with what he's done so far. And again, it was his opportunity that he created because we evaluated the practice and the meetings and the walkthrough, and he created that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.